Shadows, the horror movie heroes, by Clouds, read by Distracted by Books, Chapter 15, Heist. Izuku concentrated on looking as lost as possible as he reviewed the state of the exercise so far. Of the 13 objectives, 3 had been claimed by the villains in the initial rush. 1 was in progress, and 2 were currently safe in the hands of the heroes. He ran through the list in his head. Number 1, Snitch, unclaimed. Number 2, Vase, at Hero Agency. Number 3, Hostage, unclaimed. Number 4, Diamond, claimed. Number 5, Drugs, unclaimed. Number 6, Weapons, unclaimed. Number 7, Explosives, unclaimed. Number 8, Bank, claimed. Number 9, Ransom, in progress. Number 10, Convenience store, claimed. Number 11, Car, unclaimed. Number 12, Crown, unclaimed. Number 13, Documents, at Hero Agency. The claimed objectives were the easy ones that just required going in and stealing something without any need for information or special materials. The rest of the objectives all had something getting in the way, but Izuku and Hitoshi specialized in overcoming obstacles. So rather than being intimidated, they were just excited. So of course, they had decided to go after the most challenging objective on the first day. Izuku held back a smile when he saw his target around the corner. Ryu Hanzu, a transfer into the hero course from general education. His quirk was similar to Gang Orca's in that it gave him the head of a great white shark, as well as the ability to do anything a shark could do, which meant that as long as he avoided the teeth and didn't get him near any water, Izuku would be fine. Hanzu's hero costume was simple, basically just a short-sleeved wetsuit with a blue and green wave design running up the sides, and Izuku could think of a few improvements right off the bat, but he wasn't here to fix the heroes' costumes or give them suggestions for improvement. No, he was here to absolutely decimate them. Izuku purposefully made his way through the crowd towards Hanzu until he got close enough, then started running, "Mr. Hero! Mr. Hero!" Hanzu turned and looked down at Izuku. Hi, can I help you?" "Oh," Izuku put on a worried expression, grateful he looked a couple years younger than he actually was. "I'm lost. Could you maybe help me find my way home?" Immediately, Hanzu smiled, and Izuku held back a smirk. Helping a lost child was one of the hero's objectives. So, too bad Izuku wasn't actually a lost civilian. Well, not bad for Izuku, but bad for Hanzu. "Sure, kid." Hanzu puffed out his chest proudly. "Just tell me where you need to go, and I'll get you there." Izuku gave him the fake address, and Hanzu nodded and pressed his comms. "Hey guys, I'm just helping this lost kid find his way home, and then I'll be back on my normal patrol, okay?" He didn't say anything else, and Izuku relaxed slightly. If he'd given the other heroes the address, or even the neighborhood they were going to, that would make things a bit more complicated. But as long as he didn't give them any more information than he had, Izuku could still proceed as planned. The two of them weaved their way through the streets until they reached a place a lot less busy and a lot more abandoned. Izuku acted appropriately confused at street corners and let Hanzu help him as much as possible. But soon enough, they still ended up exactly where Izuku had planned. He waited until there were no witnesses before calling out, "That's it! That's my building!" Izuku started running and Hanzu jogged after him. "You kind of live way out there, don't you?" Hanzu panted. Well, if you're found, I should probably be heading back." Hanzu was getting nervous, which meant that Izuku was running out of time. He skidded to a stop. "Actually, there was one more thing." "I guess that's okay," Hanzu said, tensing slightly. "What is it?" Izuku channeled his inner fanboy as he grabbed his notebook and shoved it forward. Can I please have your autograph? Hansu relaxed and took the notebook. Really? I've never had someone ask for my autograph before. This is kind of cool. Izuku waited on the balls of his feet until Hansu looked down to sign the notebook, and then he struck, punching Hansu directly in the nose. He dropped the notebook, stumbling back and giving Izuku just enough of an opening to target his pressure points. They were bound to be a bit different on someone with shark anatomy, but if he focused on the places where his body was more human and hit hard enough in just the right places. Hey, what are you? Hanzu's eyes rolled back as Izuku punched his pressure point. Ow. He fell to the floor, and Izuku waited tensely for a few seconds to make sure he was really out before running forward and flipping the switch that would functionally break Hanzu's calm. He'd still be able to talk to the teachers, but not his fellow heroes. Sorry, I need you alive for now. Okay, where did I stash that rope? Hitoshi perched on the windowsill and watched the pair of villains below. It was a girl with pigtails and a guy with green-gray skin and horns that looked large enough to pulverize both Hitoshi and Izuku if they made the wrong move. And that was without a quirk that made his fingers shoot out bullets. The duo had managed to nab the diamond objective in the first few minutes of the exercise, thanks half to the girl's drill hair quirk and half to pure skill. From what Hitoshi had seen of their heist, he suspected that they had some past experience on the wrong side of the law, even if it wasn't enough to disqualify them from the exercise, and Izuku had agreed. Normal civilians didn't know how to drill through a safe that fast. He took a deep breath as he ran through the character that he and Izuku had discussed for Shadows. He needed to act like he already knew everything and let them know that, no matter what they did, he would always come out on top. Hitoshi made sure his voice changer was securely on before speaking. Nice place you've got here. Dark, musty, perfect villain vibes. But then again, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you? The labs weren't very heavily guarded, unless the 10 layers of security alarms and weapon systems counted. A villain would immediately trip every single alarm and call a giant security team, not to mention every hero in the area. But Izuku wasn't a villain at the moment. He held his breath as he swiped Hanzu's hero license at the front gate, grinned when the keypad beeped and turned green. The rules of the exercises stated that the license wouldn't work anymore as soon as Hanzu died. But for right now, Izuku was a hero, even if he was currently dressed in full villain gear. He waited for the gate to open and strolled right in, careful to avoid any people running around. He had already hacked into the system and looped the footage just in case anyone was watching. But from his research, this facility was more of a shell that was supposed to look intimidating than it was an impenetrable fortress, and the security team were just more HUC actors, not actual security guards. It would still be a challenge to get in and out, of course, but if he wanted to be a scary hero, he needed to work on stealth anyway. It was good practice, and all he had to do was stay out of sight. A guard came around the corner and Izuku froze. So much for that plan. Hey! The guard's eyes narrowed. You're not supposed to be here. At Hitoshi's voice, both villains jumped to their feet and started looking around. The girl's hair twisted into drill-like points as her eyes swept the room, and the guy readied his hands to shoot as he called out into the darkness, Who's there? Just a friend. Hitoshi took control as he jumped down from the window, landing in a crouch. Now, if you agree to be nice, I'll let go of Mr. Frankenstein here, and we can have a friendly chat. If you don't, he'll attack you. Got it? The girl glanced between Hitoshi and her partner, tensing when she realized the latter was just standing there, eyes blank and limbs hanging loosely at his side. She cursed. A brainwasher! Of all the rotten luck! Yep. Hitoshi hummed, Well, have you come to a decision? Fine, the girl snarled. Let him go and we'll talk. Hitoshi grinned and let go. Good, now let's get introductions out of the way. What are your names? The two exchanged a nervous glance, and the girl looked at Hitoshi suspiciously. Just cut to the chase. We know you're after the diamond. Hitoshi held his hands up in surrender. Actually, I'm not. At least not right now. Now, your names. The girl hesitated for another long moment. Akiko. Maki, the guy answered. Good. Now that wasn't too hard, was it? Shinso said, now let's talk business. Akiko crossed her arms. No, fair is fair. Tell us your name first. Hitoshi's social anxiety was going through the roof, but he forced himself to look calm. He was used to acting cocky to get a rise out of people and throw them off, so it was familiar in a way that was almost comforting. The longer he acted intimidating like this, the more he actually found himself having fun, which was something he hadn't necessarily expected, but he wasn't about to look a gift horse in the mouth. No, it was more fun to just roll with it. Hitoshi made a show of thinking. How about you call me Shadows? That's as good as we're gonna get, isn't it? Maki laughed. All right, Shadows. If you're not after the diamond objective, what are you after? Oh, you know, just trying to make some extra cash on the side. Hitoshi shrugged. So, would you like to know who the snitch is? You're an info broker. Akiko sighed in realization. I heard some rumors they were planning to add one this year. Hitoshi nodded, half wondering if Izuku had started those rumors himself, but couldn't get too distracted. He could always ask Izuku later. So, would you like the info or not? Yes, Maki nodded. How much? About 1/10 of what you get from turning the objective in, Hitoshi offered. Either that or a favor. We'll pay the money, Akiko said dryly. We really aren't interested in owing any favors to someone like you. Suit yourself. Hitoshi shrugged and tossed them an envelope from his pocket. Pleasure doing business with you. He strolled out the front door of their hideout and couldn't keep a smile off his face. He liked feeling powerful. Izuku saw the guard reaching for his comm and panicked. This mission, in fact, their whole plan relied on him getting in, getting the objective, and getting out without being noticed. Before he had the chance to hesitate, Izuku pulled out one of his guns and shot a paintball at the guard's chest. Sorry, but I can't have you call for backup. There was a second when Izuku couldn't be sure if it had worked. But then the guard sighed and took out his token, dropping it to the floor. He didn't say anything else, and neither did Izuku. He looked around for a moment until he found what looked like a garbage chute, then picked up the token and shoved it inside. That would count as hiding the body, in accordance with the rules, and one of Ectoplasm's clones would soon be there to pick up the dead guard, so he was free to move on. He gave a brief nod to the guard before stashing his gun and continuing on his way. He had to pass 3 more security checkpoints on the way down to the basement, but none of them were manned, and he didn't run into any more guards. He reached the final room and swiped Hanzu's hero license to open the door, whistling when he saw the sheer amount of experimental explosives that were inside. A large badge with the number 7 was stuck on one of the 3 pallets, and Izuku grimaced. Change of plans. We're gonna need to steal a truck. Once he was a safe distance away from the villain's hideout, Hitoshi called Izuku on the comms. Hey, I'm done passing along the info on the snitch. Is there anything else you'd like me to do before I head back to the apartment? Give me a minute. There was a noise that sounded like an engine starting, and Izuku cheered under his breath before responding, Sorry, I had to figure out how to hotwire a car. Since this job is going to take a little longer than I'd planned, could you go take care of the hero I stole the license from earlier this morning? Sure thing, Hitoshi said. You set it up so I can track his hero comm from my phone, right? Yep, Izuku said. There's going to be a forklift around here somewhere. Oh, just make sure you call before you kill him. If I'm still inside the lab when his license deactivates, then it's game over. Hitoshi nodded. Got it. No pressure. Izuku snorted. Pretty much, yep. I mean, I have a plan B in case one of us gets caught, but still. Okay, I found a forklift, so I gotta go. Good luck! Hitoshi rolled his eyes and started looking around for a place where he could change back into his civilian clothes. Do I even want to know? End of chapter.